Hello and welcome to Missionary Messages. So I don't have an episode today. I realized last week that I forgot to tell you what the subject was going to be for the next month and a half. And so I just thought I would come on today and let you know what that subject is. The last month or so, Michael and Candace have been discussing quite frequently about the existence and virtual reality of demons. They have discussed a spiritual war and battle going on in the world and how they believe angels will conquer the demons and that we are on the winning side of the battle. This is what I'm going to be talking about for the next month and a half because I won't be on every week. As you think about this topic, I want you to think about the spiritual battle and various wars that are going on inside of you, and how those spiritual battles and various wars affect your family, how they affect you first and primary, how they affect your family, how they affect your friends, how they affect your work, and then how do they affect the world? What is your influence on the rest of the world because of these battles that are waging on inside of you? Is it a good one? Is your influence a good one? Or is your influence a negative and toxic one? Maybe you don't even know what kind of influence you are demonstrating to the world. But even if you don't know that, you are in some degree demonstrating some sort of influence in the world on whatever spiritual battle or whatever other battle you are experiencing within yourself. I will do my part in trying to help you discover the answer to this question as you tune into my next episodes. I will help you delve into whether you are choosing good and God, or if you are choosing evil and demons. We will be discussing this concept, and there is much to discuss and cover in this area, and that's why it's going to take me more than one episode. After this discussion, I would like to talk about the restoration, because that's not something we talked about in depth yet, and it's something really important that we need to talk about, so we will be talking about that. One thing I want to say before I leave today is we have an end from every beginning, right? And so I want you to think about this a little bit as you prepare to listen to the next episodes that I will be having. As I talk about this topic, I want you to think about the end and the beginning. A couple temples that help me understand my end from my beginning. I'm going to just mention them today because a temple is a good place for you to see ends from beginnings. So we have many ends, many beginnings, right? So in the Billings, Montana temple, when I go to this temple, I see part of my life on this earth. I see my past struggles. I see what led me to my present. I see a big part of my personal history. The Idaho Falls temple, which is this temple that is behind me right now. Behind me is this temple because this is the temple I went to when I received my endowments for the first time. This temple is very special to me. And when I go to this temple, there is a room called the Celestial Room. In this room, there are murals. And when I look and ponder on one of the murals, I see an end from a beginning as it pertains to my life. When I first went to this temple, I did not see the end from the beginning because of my lack of knowledge and understanding of the gospel. I was just learning when I first went to this temple. I was very immature in my gospel knowledge as pertains to the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. But with my continual study and pondering and steadfastness of the words in the Book of Mormon. So this is the Book of Mormon, okay? I have come to see an end from a beginning as it pertains to this temple and the Book of Mormon. This book will show you your end, so you know how to get to where you must be. God knows the end from the beginning. So what does that mean? In a recent conference talk, in the last one that we just had, Elder Patrick Patrick Kieran stated, "Everything about the Father's plan for his beloved children is designed to bring everyone home." So this is a quote from one of our general authorities. And he said that God's plan is designed to bring everyone home. And when he says home, the only home I can think that we would all want to be at is where God is, right? That would be our home. That's where we came from. We came from God. We want to be back with God. I remember having a conversation with my son Isaac a few months ago, and we were discussing the lost sheep. He said to me, because we hear this, the lost sheep, and all of Jesus' stories, right? He loves to talk about the lost sheep. And Isaac said to me, which I have said many times in my life, but it was nice to hear him say this, "Mom, we are here to bring everyone home." Now, this was before this general conference talk when we were talking about this. He said, "This plan is meant to bring everyone home, not just half or 3/4 of the people who live and have lived on the earth, but everyone. And I will make sure I do my part to bring everyone home." So I love him saying this, and he is doing that in where he is serving right now in San Francisco. God made the plan of salvation. It is called the plan of salvation for a reason. The definition of salvation is preservation, deliverance from harm, ruin, or loss, deliverance from sin and its consequences. God created the plan with a purpose. When God created this plan, he knew the end from the beginning because he's God, right? He knows all these things. And if you are a writer, like I am, I wrote my grandma's book, and I'm in the process of writing a 8-book series. You usually have the end in mind before you write it. So when I wrote my grandma's book, I knew the end I had to take a part of her life, and I chose one of her ends in that life. So I had to start from the beginning, right? But I knew the end that I was going to. Do you think when God made the plan of salvation, he knew the end? Of course he did. He made the plan of salvation with the end first being in his mind. Because like I said, when you're a writer, you have to know what end you're going to. Does God fail in his creations, in his organization, or his planning? Some may think so, but no, he does not. Everything has a purpose. Everything has a reason. He did not create the plan to fail. He did not create us to fail. He did not create this plan for failure in us coming back to him. You chose to be a part of this plan before you came to earth because you have a body. You know you chose this plan, which means most likely you saw your end. Do you think you would have followed this plan if your end was failure? I don't think I would have. Why would I come here if I knew that I was going to fail, right? No, of course not. We knew our roles. We knew our parts. We knew our outcome. We do not have a loving Heavenly Father that would not have shown us this outcome. He wouldn't have brought us here if we didn't know the outcome. This is why we have a veil over our eyes, so we can learn who we can become as we navigate this mortal frame. So, if this is true, and in the scriptures we find all the time Jesus Christ going to find the lost sheep, that he does not want one soul to be lost, and that we are in charge. We, me, you, my son, everyone is in charge of finding the lost sheep. It means that he literally does not want one soul to be lost. He does not want you to be lost. I want you to think about how God planned this plan and how we also knew this plan as you prepare to listen to these next episodes of mine. And I want you to imagine when we planned our part in the plan of salvation with him, we saw the end from the beginning. I want you to imagine that. Think about it in your mind before we start this topic. And I want you to think that you agreed to this and that we agreed to it because of the end we saw. Not in spite of the end, but because of the end. I want you to think about that. I invite you to read the Book of Mormon because you can't find the end without reading this book. If you want to see your end from your beginning while you live on this while you live in this mortal life, read the Book of Mormon. The Book of Mormon will give you peace as you read it. It will enlighten your mind with your beginning. It will give you courage to endure the process of the present. It will allow you to see your endpoints in this life and ultimately in the eternities. God doesn't make plans of failure. He only makes plans of success. You are a success no matter what stage of life you are in this plan. Just because you chose to come to earth, you are a success. So whatever you're doing right now, whether you think you're failing or whatever, you are a success. Think about that. You did not come here to fail. God's plans do not fail, and He made and planned you. Reading the Book of Mormon will prepare you for the subject that I am going to talk about. I invite all of you, just as Jesus Christ invites us to read the Book of Mormon, to learn what you need to learn so that you can see your end and beginning. Go to the temple. Even if you are not a member, go visit a temple that is near you so you can hear the voice of the Lord. Listen to God's voice, really listen, and open up your heart and begin being an active member of your individual plan. I invite you to read the Book of Mormon, but you have to read it with an open heart and an open mind, not trying to find fault in it, but trying to find truth in it. And if you do that, I promise you, God will reveal the truth of its truthfulness to you. I promise you that you will begin on a road to success that might be full of road bumps, but you will begin a road to success and not failure, because we are not here to fail. We are here to succeed. And I leave that with you today, and I will see you next time. Bye, everybody.